How are y'all doing? It's Aaron Alaniz, CEO and founder of BASIX. And in today's video, you are not only getting Aaron Alaniz, the CEO and founder of BASIX, but you all are getting just Aaron Alaniz. Aaron Jose Alaniz is my middle name, if you all didn't know. And the reason you all are getting more of just me kind of thing, it's not like I ever put a mask on camera, but sometimes when you're on camera, you got to do certain things here and there. But this is a more grounded, integrated, and authentic version of myself than I've probably ever been on camera so far, and it's coming from a cool standpoint of me just doing me kind of thing. And the reason we're making this video today is because we just crossed the 2-year mark here at BASIX. So formerly known as Aaron Alaniz Fitness, September 26th of 2020 is when I first launched the applications for online coaching. At the time, I was a college student trying to figure out ways to just improve my situation as a whole. And people started applying. I remember at the time, there was 20 applicants. I remember seeing those 20. I was like, man, 20 people are interested. I was so hyped. And now we're in 27 states across the country. We've gone into 27 states across the country, right? Canada, Sweden, Australia, Finland, and the Netherlands, which is insane to think about. So again, thank you all for all the support. Thank you all for seeing the vision. I am from a small town here in Edinburgh, Texas. I grew up here. I was in high school here. I attended college here. And it's incredible to think that when you are someone with a vision, self-belief, determination, and even delusional self-confidence, you can make an impact in this world. It's not the biggest yet. We're working on it, but sometimes you got to give yourself flowers when people don't know about your victories. So that's what we're doing today. Some of the biggest lessons I've learned, just to give you all some kind of some overall notes. Quitting is for winners, not losers. The reason I'm saying that is because before I started Aaron Alaniz Fitness, BASIX, formerly known as Aaron Alaniz Fitness, I was wanting to be a rapper, right? So I was making music, I was doing my thing, and I wasn't executing the way that I really wanted to. So because I wasn't executing, guess what? If I wasn't putting out music, no one's going to check out what you're doing, and then before you know it, 1 year passes by, and then 5 years pass me by. I was 23 years old in 2020 when everything was going on. I didn't know what to do, because everyone else was panicking about the lockdown and my life stayed the exact same. And that's when I knew something was wrong with my situation. At the time, I was taking 5 different prescription medications. I was anxious, I was depressed, and I was giving into guilty pleasures in the form of food and other behaviors that just weren't in alignment with my highest moral compass, And nowadays, it's a complete 180, For those of you all that don't know, early this year, I was kind of lost, man. I was really lost in my ways just because my attention was spread in so many different directions. And the last 6 months, I ended up taking some real hard looks at the man in the mirror in order to make the corrections necessary in order to go to the next level. Sometimes I think when you achieve a goal and you want to get to the next level, but sometimes you're afraid of what that's going to take, you end up reverting back into old habits. So this year was actually funny because as I was making the podcast, guess what happened? Like I told you all about the music, I ended up reverting back into making music. So I was kind of making some little raps here and there on the side and no one even knew. And I ended up having to check myself. Man, you gotta, again, quitting is for winners. I had to remind myself of that lesson this year because the more that I focus on what we're doing here, the more that I feel filled right here. In April, man, I remember I had to talk with several coaches around in my network. It was a real weird situation because it was the first time where I had to really address my spirit because, nowadays I've been told my energy and my spirit and my soul is just evident. And it's been a result of me reclaiming that within myself and getting close with God and figuring out what makes Aaron Aaron. And it's not the achievements, it's not the logos, it's not the anything, man. It's just I am who I am. And then now it's just I can just speak on camera, one take Jake, and just let you all feel what I'm about. And it came as a byproduct of me letting go of what I thought it had to be, which is again quitting, like I told you all about earlier, the first lesson. Because once I was able to quit what I thought it had to be, you just start shining, man. And people can tell the difference. My relationship with my mother's never been better. My relationship with my stepfather has never been better. It's just, things are so beautiful when you learn how to quit the things that are holding you back, and just really living in alignment with your full capacity, which is the second lesson I want to teach you all today. Is don't include buffers in your life. Meaning, if you want a big goal, go for the big goal. Don't settle for buffers. Meaning, for those of you all that don't know, when I first started posting on this channel a little bit more seriously, quote unquote, I had got this little ZV-1 camera. So for those of you all that know cameras, I had the money to get the camera that I have now, but I was kind of a little bit scared, kind of thing. And the reason I was scared is because not a cheap camera, bro. Look how clear I look. You see what I mean? It's a real nice camera. It's actually nicer than the one I've had on my vision board since the beginning of this year. I got this little camera because I didn't necessarily know if I can pull off the big camera yet. And it's a month into me using that small camera, I was like, okay, I can do the big one, bro. And that's when I started realizing that that's like a big thing with business as a whole too. Meaning, if you want to achieve a certain goal, go straight for the big goal. Don't feel like you have to achieve one thing before you get to the next one. Go straight for the big one. And in doing so, you'll be able to just achieve so much more of your potential without wasting the time. You know, I think sometimes people also use other people as placeholders too, which I've been guilty of as well. So when you can understand that, just go straight for the big goal, you'll be able to really start achieving your maximum potential in a faster manner without wasting your time or anybody else's, which is a really beautiful thing to say. And last but not least, the biggest thing I've learned this year is to remain teachable and to truly, authentically, and honestly live in service, not through your ego. You know, for those of you all that know, some of my closest friends I end up having this conversation with, this might shock you all, but I've had an ego problem for quite a bit in my life. And I think a lot of it, truthfully, has come down to me in the past being a little bit more insecure, believe it or not. And that's like, I don't know if that makes me seem confident because I can say it on camera, or if that makes me feel, looks, whatever, but I don't care. I'm just being truthful. Sometimes I get a little insecure about certain things, right? And in me addressing that and figuring out what it was, and it was just me comparing myself to other people that just aren't like me. I'm very well aware that I speak different. I'm very well aware that there's other people in the fitness industry that go about making their content in different ways than I do. And sometimes that got to my head a little bit. And it's just like, man, you are you. And that's what makes you you. You know, I have such a beautiful gift to orate and public speak and communicate complex fitness ideas in a simple format for the average person that doesn't want to become a fitness expert to understand. You know, it allows them to just get into the gym, execute a set information, execute the system that we have here at BASIX. That way they can continue doing their engineering job or their doctor's job or whatever the case may be. And in doing so, I've been able to just embrace what made me different, which is actually what makes me me. You know, understand that in this world you can either fit in or you can stand out, but you can't do both. So you got to figure out which one do you want to be. And I'm in a really cool season in my life where I've actually privately called this my separation season. Meaning I've allowed myself to separate from certain activities and separate from this. And even some friends of mine that I'm still really close with and I'm going to have to make some apologies to very soon, I've had to make this separation for myself in order to really make sure that I'm showing up the best for them and for everybody else. Because I've gone through a lot of spiritual and emotional work, man, in a good way, to where it's just like, I am literally the best that I've ever been. And I've allowed myself to sit in certain feelings and feeling like what was causing this, and then figuring out ways to get out of it, and then rebuilding and standing up stronger. Tim Grover has this thing where he talked about Michael Jordan and how Michael Jordan back in the day, when he would lose a championship or something would happen, he let himself sit there for a little bit. And this year with my stepdad going to Houston to go get his lungs transplanted and some other things that went on also, I let myself sit there for a little bit. Initially, I was getting hyperactive. So when I posted like a video podcast episode here on the YouTube channel a while back, I was like in the stage of me just getting hyperactive. And I was just trying to distract myself from doing the work that God was presenting for me to do. It's like, hey man, now's the time to look in the mirror, Aaron. Now's the time to do your thing. And at the time, I was like, nah, let me get my cloud up and let me do this and let me do that. And I was just trying to be perceived a certain way. You know what I mean? Truthfully. And now I'm in a real cool stage to where I did all the work that I needed to. I'm grounded. I understand the way this world works in such a beautiful way from the spiritual standpoint and like a human nature standpoint, and just understanding the human animal in a really cool way. You know what I mean? And last lesson I want to teach you all today and just share with you all from my 2 years in business is to understand that things won't just work out. You have to make them work. And that's a really big thing I want to share with you all as well. When I first got in business, I thought that things would just work out. And while they do, I think sometimes you have to understand, and this is something that might go over some people's heads, that as much as you want to take risks, you also want to make sure that you're very calculated. I was talking with someone very, very recently, a good friend of mine and a student of ours. It's like, Aaron, how do you take so many risks in business and pull it off? And I'm like, bro, I cross my fingers and God just has my back. I just think he's making it impossible for me to fail really big at this point in my life. And creating those boundaries and understanding that if I want this life, I have to separate myself from what most people are doing. You know, I'm not drinking anymore, if you all don't know, like the podcast episode I posted a while back, for those of you all that have been in tune. I don't drink. I do my best not to curse. Sometimes I'm not perfect, but I'm doing my best to keep my mouth clean. And I'm living as virtuously as I can. I still got an edge to me. I still got some teeth, but I use my teeth for good, more so than trying to compensate for feeling inadequate, truthfully. So, yeah, man, last 2 years have been incredible. You know, and I wouldn't be able to have done this without all of your all's patience, support for all of our students here at BASIX. Thank you so much for everything. You all have been able to provide me such a beautiful life, truthfully. And I'm not rich, I'm not wealthy, but I can swipe my card without crossing my fingers. And I used to sleep in my truck, so I'll never, ever be jaded about that. And I think for those of you all that are struggling right now, understand that I'm not, whatever, I'm just going to say what I want to say. God gives you your battles, your toughest things in order for you to almost like not be jaded. Because as I've actually become certain things, and I've actually been able to do this and actually been able to do that, it's actually funny because when people tell you you're this and this, like my head, I'm sure some of you all who have crossed certain mountains in your life as well, people tell you about how good you're doing, and then you immediately go back into when you were struggling. And then it allows you to understand, it keeps you humble. You know what I mean? It keeps you real humble, and you understand that even though certain things in the past when you were building up your mission or whatever were tough, and it was a real tough battle for you, it happened for a reason. You know, and right now I'm in this other stage to where it's like this, the end of this last journey of me doing everything myself and me, initially I just wanted to start a YouTube channel. Now we're actually pumping out consistently, which is beautiful to say. And now we're just going to do even more. I got a drone recently, which is crazy. So now I'm going to be doing some more drone content for the channel. I got to learn how to fly it a little bit more because, man, those things are a little bit tougher than you trust me, man. I thought they would be a little bit easier to fly just because you see some of these pilots. Like, oh, man, that's easy. I almost crashed it, bro. I got a little dent on my drone. I paid like $1,300 for that little whatever. And I got a little dent in it already because I was trying to fly it inside like a DA, but it happens. But I got the little Digi refresh. So for those of you all that know cameras, I got the little warranty. So we good. We got taken care of. But yeah, man, life has been beautiful lately. Thank you all for all the support. Thank you all for everything. For everyone who's entered my life, thank you. For everyone who has exited my life, thank you. For everyone who is entering my life in the future, thank you. I am more emotionally integrated, spiritually integrated, and proud to be the man that I see in the mirror than I've ever been in my whole life. I wouldn't be able to do that without your all support. Your number 3 is going to be special. I'm telling you, your number 3. You thought 1 was cool? Okay. You thought 2 was cool? I did my best. It was a little tough. Your number 3 is going to be real special. I want to provide people with employment opportunities. I want people to know who we are, and I don't want to rob people of my light anymore. You know? And I just had to make sure that I took these last few months to, although I've been moving forward, you know, I don't have it in my DNA, like I said, to stand still. But I'm a high action person. I just need to make sure that, and I trust myself so much that I can let myself slow down in certain regards and know that I can pick it up and be better than ever. Because now this version of myself is just a fully integrated monster with a real pure soul and a real pure spirit. I've grown in many regards that I can't wait to share with you all as time goes on. So, like I said, year 3 is going to be real cool. More drone footage. I want to really, before I move out to, I want to tell you all lately, but it's going to be real evident soon. It's going to make sense. When I make the move that I want to make, before then, it's my mission to make some more vlogish type of content around my hometown, because there's a certain kind of reality that I've been able to build down here for myself, and there's certain things that I've experienced, and there's certain areas of my hometown that the world doesn't know about. And I want to make sure that before I go out to where I'm going to, I am showcasing everything. I want to be the person that showcases Starbucks I've been going to for a long time, or the gyms that I've gone to around the area, some of my friends that do music, or some of this, and some people that do fitness down here. And that's really what I want to do, man. I want to put my city on a map, because I have a lot of conversations with my 80-year-old self. I know that sounds a little bit out there, but it is what it is. I'm always thinking about how to do certain things. And my 80-year-old self is always telling me, before you move out, show your city and show your hometown and show your region in a light that it hasn't been shown in just yet. You know, like I said, I do my best to be virtuous. I'm far from perfect, and there's a lot of mistakes I made. But I've asked for forgiveness, and I've forgiven myself more than anything else. And that's my stomach right now. We're in a calorie deficit. Come on, you know. And that's what I want to do. So as much as I like these talking head videos, as convenient as these are for me personally, I got to be able to shoot some vlog kind of content. Not necessarily all about me, but I'm going to find a way to integrate like that drone that I was telling you all about earlier. Like, here, there's a Target that I've been shopping at for years. This is where I grew up when I was younger. This is the gym that I go to now. This is the gym I used to go to. This is the restaurant I go to here. This is where people have fun down here. This is a Top Golf, like things of that nature, because the world don't know about my area and the way that I've experienced it, you know? So let's just keep on growing. Let's just keep on building. Love you all very much. Thank you for everything. And let's just keep on going, keep on growing. And no one's told you in a minute, I'll tell you right now. It's time to get it together, man. See ya.